Alright friends, I'm here to show you how to use Adobe Fresco. You're going to go to self-serve and download the app Adobe Fresco. It's a drawing and painting app that we use in class. And you are going to begin by creating a new document. I like to use the letter size. And then once you open up your brand new canvas or your new doc, you can then use the photo tool, right? You can see it in the bottom left. It looks like a mountain, and you can go to your photos and select the photo that you'll use to complete your shape OA, your digital shape OA. So you're going to have three different ones to choose from. I'm showing you an example of how I would go ahead and use the shoe to complete this assignment. And you're going to want to look at the top left. And you'll see I'm going to use the vector drawing tool. It's the third one down. It's got a little circle. It's on the top left, and you can see you can choose different colors to use to create your line. And how we're going to get started is we're just going to use black as our color, like a marker. And we're going to go around and we're going to trace all of the shapes that we see in the shoe. You can see that I am turning on and off the layers just so you can see that I am on a different layer. If you look on the right, I'm drawing on a new layer. I'm not drawing on the layer that I have my image on. So again, you can see that I'm making sure that I'm on that separate layer to do all my drawing on. You do not want to draw on the layer that you have your image on because we're actually going to color it in, and if you draw on the layer that you have your image on, you will not be able to color it. So just make sure you have a new layer, and you can just go ahead and trace all the shapes that you see. Okay? And I guess one really important thing here is to note is that you need to make sure that you complete each shape. You don't want to have any space in between each shape, right? So now I'm going to use I go to my image layer that I have the gym shoe, and I actually turn down the opacity of the image so I can see my lines and shapes a little bit better, so I make sure that each shape is completed, right? There isn't any openings in that shape, because then it wouldn't be a shape. It's just a line. It won't be a shape until the line connects to the other side, right, to complete that shape. So it's really important that you connect each shape. And if you make a little error there, right, you can go back and use your eraser tool and erase the edge to make nice, clean shapes. And the reason why you want to make sure that you complete each shape is that we are going to use the paint bucket tool that will fill these shapes for us really quickly. And you can have fun with just using different colors. So you can see I'm just going around and completing each one of these shapes. I'm going to make sure that I create a shape for each shoelace. I can do this really easily because I can zoom in and out. And all of these lines, I don't need a stylus, right? I'm just using my finger to draw on the iPad screen. This is my favorite drawing app to use. It's really user-friendly. So now it looks like I've completed the entire shape. You can see all of my lines that I've created, they're complete, right? So I'm going to select the paint bucket tool, which is all the way kind of towards the middle there, and I'm going to select some colors. I'm going to try to select like some fluorescent type colors, and I'm going to start to fill in each one of these different shapes, and I'm going to try to choose colors. I should say I'm going to try to use different colors with shapes that are next to one another. And that way there's some contrast there and variety. So I think I choose 3 basic colors, and then I start to manipulate the value of some of these colors, where I can just maybe add a little bit of gray or black into those three colors, so that it kind of creates some harmony in the color, and I don't have like a million different colors, right? There's not too much to focus on. There you can see I selected, I tried to paint bucket the line, and it changed the color of my line. It's something fun you could do too, but for now we just want to make sure that we keep the line black, right? So it stands out against our or it still kind of keeps the contour line drawing of it. So that you can see there, I changed the, I made a tint of that pink, I added a little white to it, and you can do it so easily. That's why I love this app. You can kind of just move that that dot that's inside the color box. You can change to a variety of different tints and shades. It makes it really easy and really fun with your paintbrush tool. Okay, so I fill in my last shape here, and I think there I gave you an example of how to use the eyedropper tool. So you can choose, or you can find colors really easily with your eyedropper tool. You can select your color. Again, the more you use this app, the more confidence you'll have. Okay. So right now, you can see that it might be hard to see, but in the bottom right-hand corner there is a shape tool. It looks like a ruler, but if you click on, because it has a little arrow, you can select different shapes. And the goal here is to create a motif of shapes behind your shoe, right? So I'm going to create 3 or 4 different shapes, and I'm not even going to trace them over. I'm just going to use the paint bucket tool to fill them in. And it prompts you with that selection. Do you want to make it a vector or a pixel layer? You want to make it a vector layer, so it all stays as a vector layer. And you'll kind of see through my process. I use a different sizes of the same shape. I use some squares in there as well, and because I'm overlapping like we did in our first practice, I can create different types of shapes, right? And kind of create a background or something a little bit more creative than just like that white canvas background. So I'm trying my best to use fluorescent type shapes, and you'll see that the shape tool understands where it intersects with other things, and if you want to just fill in part of the shape, you can do that. As you can see there, I just filled in like that one part of the circle and not the complete circle. So here I'm going to go back and I'm going to do some squares in here. You can change the size of the square and place it and try to do some overlapping there. Again, just using that certain section. You can get really creative with this. Really user-friendly app. Again, trying to use some of those similar colors. I use that same blue again. And if you zoom in, you can just, fill in little parts of the shape instead of choosing the whole shape. And I've just created that really nice soft curve there. So this really lends itself to like a really graphic design type artwork, right? Because it really simplifies the shape in here. So I think I'm going to go through how to save this in a moment here. I think I make a mistake and try to fill in the backgrounds. And there's no need to do that. We can keep it white. Pretty happy with how this turned out. Alright, so to finish this up, I just use the watercolor tool, a watercolor brush. It's the tool right above the vector brush that we've been using. Really easy to use. You can experiment with it, but I just use a few of the similar colors to kind of brush in some watercolor effects. Right, the first time I did there, the brush was too small, so you can change the size of the brush and make the brush a bit bigger by just pushing up that level. You can see it fills in much quicker. So you can go ahead and fill in all, or maybe do 2 or 3 colors, layers of colors of watercolors. And then from there, right, pretty happy with my nice little composition. Oh yeah, and this is kind of cool. You can create a duplicate of any layer, and I duplicated my shape layer, and I just kind of moved it around with the transform tool, and just made another part of the composition. Real easy, really quick, right? So just by that's why this app is so fun. You can just really kind of quickly manipulate different layers that you did to make your composition that much more exciting. So then go ahead and take a screenshot, and like always, we're going to crop out everything about the artwork. We're going to save that to our photos, right? So select save to our photos, and then from there you can just turn that right into Google Classroom on the assignment, okay? All right, hope you had fun, and I will talk to you guys in class.